Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott alike hoping to have a redemption season. Zeke explained that. In our first meeting, Coach Kellen Moore said our #1 goal this year is to be the NFL's #1 offense. I need to see Stephen A. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Mr. Smith, I'm just wondering, do you believe the Cowboys can have the #1 offense in the National Football League?
How do?
I do. I really feel that way. The reason, listen, I'm not confident they're going to win the Super Bowl. Hell, I'm not even confident they're going to win a playoff game. But am I confident that they can have a top-rated offense? Yes, when you got a running back like Ezekiel Elliott, when you got the weapons at the wideout spot, when you got Dak coming back, if you give him any protection whatsoever, and the way that Kellen Moore, who's been there a little while now, is going to unleash them to some degree, I definitely think, and not only that, the absence of faith that they'll in all likelihood have in their defense, I think that spells for a lot of offensive production, to be quite honest with you. Now, what we have to remember that's very, very important, this is very important to bring up. Just because you are the #1 offense don't mean you're #1 when it counts. You see, Max, what happens is I want you to take into account, for example, that miraculous victory they had when they lost to when they beat the Atlanta Falcons. Remember when they beat the Atlanta Falcons? The score was 40-39. Now, that's an aberration because they actually won that game. But understand what I'm trying to say about the Cowboys. I could see the Cowboys being down a bunch of points and coming back and losing, but the numbers look good. You see what I'm saying? Yes, I could see the Dallas Cowboys accumulating numbers. I could see the Cowboys.
I knew he was being too straight and too nice. I knew he was summing up that sleeve of yours.
I could see the Cowboys accumulating numbers when they don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? I could see those kind of things happening. And at the end of the day, Max, we look at them and we go like this. Wow! Yards accumulated. Points accumulated. All right, look at that rushing. How many yards they're averaging per rush? How many yards they're averaging per pass? But the record is 8-9. I can see that. I can see something like that happening. So, just because I'm saying they're going to have the #1 offense doesn't really mean it's going to be the #1 offense.
No,
it's going to be the #1.
I see what you're doing.
Statistically.
I didn't know where you were going with this.
I knew something was up.
I hate to rain on your parade here, or maybe I don't. This is for because this isn't for the Cowboys fans either. They ain't going to like this either. There's no way you're going to have your wish come true here. And the Cowboys have the #1 offense, but it's really empty calories, and they crash when it matters most. Of they have a losing record because the Kansas City Chiefs exist. They actually exist. And there is no way the Cowboys offense is going to be better than that Chiefs offense. We've already seen what Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce can do. Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming out of the backfield now who can also catch passes. We've seen what all these guys can do. Stephen A. McCole Hardman, as a third option on we know what they're capable of doing skills positions. What's the issue been with the Chiefs? Why have the Cowboys been so good? Just because they have skills position players? Because they've had the offensive line. I don't know that the Cowboys' offensive line will be better than the Chiefs' offensive line this season. Yes, the Chiefs' offensive line, where Mahomes was running for his life on every snap in the Super Bowl. That offensive line was completely remade overnight. Not so hard if you're a Giants fan or a fan of one of these teams with hapless offensive lines for a decade. No, Chiefs showed it wasn't that hard. They traded for Orlando Brown Jr., who is a all-pro level left tackle. They signed Joe Thuney, who is an all-pro level guard. Remember when there was talk about Creed Humphrey falling in the draft? Maybe the Rams could get him to replace Blythe if Blythe left at center. Well, not only did Blythe leave the Rams at center to go to the Chiefs, but then Creed Humphrey fell to the Chiefs. They also have their offensive line is stud after stud after stud. Even on the right side, Mike Remmer's a solid guy. So they might have, like the Chiefs will have, by the middle of the season, one of the best offensive lines in the game to go with the best quarterback maybe who ever lived in his prime, to go with a dynamic running back out who can catch passes out of the backfield, and the fastest land mammal on earth, Tyreek Hill, and the all-pro, all-world Travis Kelce. The Chiefs will have the best offense in the game.
Max, I get where you're coming from, and I understand it. But let me tell you something right now. Here's the part that I think you're missing. We saw what happened to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and I know you just brought up the offensive line because obviously that's what compromised Patrick Mahomes and had him running for his life, along with an injured foot that he obviously has had surgery on, and he's healed from. But what I would say to you is this: when a team shows the rest of the league in ingredients to inconvenience you, not that it's going to prevent Kansas City from winning games, but I do think it's going to prevent them from winning it with the ease they customarily showed us they can win the games with. When you turn a game into a smash mouth contest and you start putting a hat on people, putting that helmet, putting that wood on them and what have you, it changes things. It changed things for Tyreek Hill. It changed things for Patrick Mahomes. Hell, it changed things for Andy Reid because he never expected that to happen to his squad. And let's not forget Eric Bieniemy, who's an offensive coordinator who we both believe should have had a head coaching job by now, but probably never will get one if he didn't get one this past offseason. What I'm saying is when you look at it from that perspective, and then you look at some of the teams that they're going to go against this year. I'm just looking at some of the teams on their schedule, Mac. That's why I went to my computer to pull up some of the games, okay? Because we've got a situation here where we look at them, and, you're talking about Ravens, Eagles, Washington. Obviously, you got the NFC East competition. You've got AFC West, your division, with Las Vegas and Denver, and and all of that stuff. And so I look at, and obviously the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint that you're gonna have some games, and every opponent that goes up against you is going to try to make it as physical as possible. I'm not saying they're going to beat Kansas City. I'm not saying their offense is going to be prolific. But I'm saying the ease and the level of dominance that we witness, my personal opinion is that you don't recover from the kind of beatdown that they suffered from in the Super Bowl.
Well,
that doesn't have some kind of effect in terms of how things are going to be for opponents. Somebody is going to figure something out. And that it wasn't just, and again, just like you said, the offensive line, it wasn't just the offensive line.